Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations. I hope you can hear me okay over the vent. I'm talking just about as loud as I can right now. The clicking that you're hearing in the background is my kiln that I anneal my beads in. We'll go over more of that here in a bit. We are starting off by putting on our glasses that will protect our eyes from the soda flare on the flame. I have a similar pair of lenses actually over, the glasses are taped onto my phone right now over the camera lens. I have treated my, they're about 1/8 inch, maybe a little smaller than that, mandrels with this dip and go sludge. And it's dried. I did it yesterday, but you don't have to let it dry. You can just dip it and literally go. I am using my Bethlehem Alpha torch. It's a dual gas, like it uses propane and oxygen. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, the glass that we're using today, I'm not very good at pronouncing things, but it's spelled Jacaranda. So Jacaranda, maybe? Jacaranda? I don't know how the pronunciation is on that, but it is from Creation is Messy, item number 511636. And it is a beautiful, beautiful purple. And I'm using it in conjunction with a white and a dark purple. These are all 104 COE. These two I had gotten from Delphi Glass. But I really wanted to showcase and feature, I have not used this color in a video before, and it is one of, at the time of recording at least, it is one of Creation is Messy's new colors, so I'm very, very excited to get to play with it. Alright, now we're torching up. Getting our propane going, getting our oxygen going. Maybe a little heavy-handed on the propane. I'm going to lower that down a bit because I don't want the oxygen to be hissing. There we go. But I do want a nice, solid, steady flame. So I'm going to come through now and heat up my bead release until it is red all the way through. And I'm doing this tutorial in real time because I think it's a good idea to give... I'm very new at Lampwork Glass myself. Like, in my heart, I feel very new and inexperienced, and the depth of my ignorance is astounding. There's so much more to learn. So this is just the way that I do it. But I want to let you guys know, if I can do it with no formal training whatsoever, I'm sure y'all can as well. Just practice fire safety. I do have a fire extinguisher down here to the left of my feet, and hopefully I never have to use it, but I do make sure it's up to date. So you can see here, hopefully, how bright and cherry red that is. And I'm going to come through and do a white core. So bringing in this like a opaque white, keeping my mandrel warm in the end of the flame. Now this white scorches pretty easy, so I want to be gentle with it. I don't want any soot markings on it, and I don't want it to start bubbling and getting weird, but also it's the center of the bead, so if something's going to go wrong, I hope it happens here before I get everything else done on my bead. I'm a very, very messy and imprecise Lampwork glass artist. So we've got a glob there, and I'm gonna just start bringing that around. Now I have previously pulled a stringer of white. There will be links down in the video description to all the different tools and materials I'm using, by the way. That way, in case I forget to mention something. And if y'all ever have any questions, you can always leave a comment, or you can send me an email at backtoearthcreations@yahoo.com. You can also visit our website, backtoearthcreations.com, where I have a curated toolkit and a craft-along blog and all sorts of different stuff going on over there, where, you know, like if you prefer to see pictures instead of just videos, that's where we would be posting them. There we go. So this is all kinds, y'all, of lumpy and weird, but that's okay. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get that much better by layering more on. So I'm changing hands now, which is kind of tricky, trying to get it between the my blast shield and the tripod. Because I do, on my Bethlehem Alpha, I have a Marver and blast shield, like, ouch, like fire shield, that protects my face from the heat. There we go. Now, whenever you're doing lampwork glass like this, it's a constant dance with gravity. So I'm going to try to demonstrate here what I do if my bead gets super weird. Is I actually heat it up way too much, like to where it's soupy and oozing along. And then I just kind of redistribute the molten glass around until we have as evenly shaped of a bead as I can get. I'm not too, at this point in my lampwork glass making process, like my journey, I'm not too hung up on getting perfection. I just want improvement. You know, I'd rather get the bead made and it be better than the last bead I made. Not necessarily perfect though. I'm looking for progress, not perfection. So, and whenever I change hands, you never want to cross in front of the flame or even under it. I just bring it around in front of me, very careful. I make sure that the bead isn't soupy anymore. And I'm very interested in hearing the perspective and experience of other lampwork glass artists down in the comments. So like if I'm doing something that's like I think I'm being fire safe and it's like, girl, stop that. Please, you're gonna explode. Please let me know, because you never know what you're doing that could use improvement. So I'm gonna add 4 dots on one side in this dark purple. So I've added it to the top of the bead, and then I'm going to rotate so that the bead is looking straight at me, that dot I just did, and then I'm going to do another one. And you can use whatever methods work for you for getting your dots to be nice and equidistant. Mine never are, but again, progress, not perfection. And I am trying to leave a nice solid glob that are like the same size, but you don't, this white's really soft. And so I'm having a sort of tricky time getting the white to settle in, or getting the purple to settle in without also distorting the white. So there's those ones. I'm not melting them in yet though. My rod is kind of lumpy right now, my glass rod, because I had joined 2 shorter bits together. So I do have a risk here now of, as I come up onto that join, it may break. So I'm bracing myself for that. It's always scarier in my mind than it actually ends up being in reality, but I don't want to push my luck. So there we go, there's that one. I'm just depositing a little bit of more of the purple glass to try to make these all the same size. And now to keep from, I don't want it to get weird. And you'll notice my work surface here, I have metal tables, and on top of that I have a piece of concrete board, like hardy board, and then on top of that I have a marble slab. So, and I'm just heating this up, not for the sake of the bead, but just because I'm worried about it breaking. Okay, so now I'm gonna it's off camera probably, but I'm just rolling this on my Marver to try to get it to be, it's probably still gonna break. Oh well. I'm actually I'm gonna make this a bit of stringer, actually. So I'm heating this glob up just a little bit more, keeping my bead warm in the end of my flame. And then I'm gonna touch this to the end of my mandrel, like this. And then I'm gonna start pulling, just kind of slow, because I don't want it to be too thin, but I also don't want to be too slow about this, because I don't want, whoop, well, it broke off and now it went sideways. Okay, because I don't want my bead to go cold and crack on me. Oh man, I am like juggling like crazy. Okay, so I'm not going to be using that color again on this bead, but I'm just prepping that glob up instead of it breaking off later. I have it pulled as a stringer now, and I will clip off the bit of glass on the end that has some of that bead release stuck to it. And so now I'm just coming through and rotating, and we are going to melt these little purple spots in, because technically we could just stop there. We're not gonna, but we could. And I'm gonna try to melt them in without making the core of our bead all soupy. So I don't want to heat through too much. I just want to heat the surface and let it dissipate. And then heat the surface. The more I superheat the surface and then just let it cool a bit, the better of an effect we're going to get. And again, I'm trying to not scorch the white of the glass. Ooh, and you can see how that's starting to come together. Those two need some heat, okay? Constantly rotating, because we have this constant pull of gravity down. And so we want to, by spinning our mandrel in the glass on the bead, we can kind of distribute that gravitational force, you know, over the whole surface of the bead. Okay, so maybe we can see here. I can't tell at all what the camera may or may not be focusing on, but you can see how those dots have moved a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to come through, and here you can see I had done that same style of stringer pulling as we did on the purple with this white. And so keeping this just barely warm, but not orange hot at all. The bead, I mean. I'm heating up some white, and I'm gonna boop, just at the base of the purple, as though it were like a petal. Boop. Putting that on there. Trying to keep our dots evenly sized. There we go. Now turning my mandrel. Now I'm following along, learning from a book called Creative Lampwork. I think I'll have that linked down in the video description. I highly recommend it. Very approachable, beginner-friendly projects that teach you nice foundation techniques that I think it has a lot of room to grow as a lampwork artist as well. So now we have done these white dots on top of that dark purple, and I'm going to begin just melting them in. Hit the mandrel on my glass. Now also you might be able to hear like a fan going in the background. That is, I have a inline vent fan going, like sucking the air away from me, because glass it does emit fumes as you heat it, and you do not want to be breathing that stuff in. So I have the fan pulls twice. It's a 1080 cubic feet per second, or per minute. See, I don't know, per minute. I think, yeah. So it rotates the air in the room. It replaces the air in the room, because I'm in like a 10 by 10 room, every minute. And I think that's a good thing, because it's pulling all those fumes away from me. I'd still like to get a hood just to make it a little bit more focused, but constantly seeking to do better, especially whenever it comes to safety. Okay, so again, letting that bead cool. I'm now bringing in the Creation is Messy purple, the Jacaranda, I think. So pretty, probably my favorite color. And very easy to work with. Even from whenever I first started working on this rod, there was no popping, it's not bubbling on me, it doesn't scorch easy. Like, which, as somebody who's, I'm gonna be frank with you, I'm not very good at Lampwork glass, y'all. Like, it seems very Vaughn friendly, so beginner friendly. And a little idiot proof. Like, that's kind of nice. I like a glass that is very forgiving. So I'm just heating this up and blopping that on there. Trying to get my globs to be about the same size. Blop. Just completely encasing that white dot that we had done. Blob. And I think I'm going to do a video like this for each of the new Creation is Messy colors that I've gotten my hands on. Just to kind of show you, well, to document my own experience for whenever I'm going and reordering, but also to share with y'all, you know, some colors scorch easy, some colors are very poppin' and messy and scuzzy, like, you know, not necessarily by Creation is Messy, but just in general. That's what I've experienced. And so I'd like to learn through my own experimentation, but also from y'all's experiences, which ones do what. Maybe if I'm doing something making my life more difficult than it needs to be, you know, as I do. There we go. Okay, so we have capped each of our globs with this little like tentacle looking monster bead, and I'm going to now melt these in. This is our final time. I'm not going to be encasing this in clear because this purple is so like just clean and beautiful. I think it looks great without being encased. You could always encase your bead, but this is just me. This is me doing me. Now also you can kind of see here I can heat one side more so than the other. Not only is the glass being constantly pulled on by gravity, but it will travel the direction that the heat is. So if I'm heating, as you can see here, off to the far left of my bead, that's going to pull my glass more towards the end there. Whereas if I were heating in the center, it would pull everything towards the center. So I want this bead to be a little bit more round. So I'm heating off to each of the sides first to get the dots to be melted in. And then I'm going to finish it off by heating in the center. Let me get the rest of that heat. Okay. Again, still just rotating this whole time, trying to keep it all nice and even and distributed, but not getting soupy. It can be a little bit of a juggle, but you've got this. Okay, so there we are now. I'm going to flame anneal this a little bit, so I'm letting it cool down out in the far coolest part of my flame. Just trying to get that temperature the same all the way through, because we did all this work. We don't want our bead cracking, you know. Okay, and now I'm going to take this over and pop it into my kiln, anneal it for about an hour and 15 minutes at 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, and I will meet you guys back here after this bead has cooled, and we'll take a look and see how it came out. It is the following day, and it's very poorly lit in here, but this is what it looks like inside my kiln. I'm not very fast at making beads, but I do like making them. So that is how what I worked on yesterday came out. So this one right here is the one that we made in the tutorial. And this one here is the practice bead I had done prior to it, and those are a couple other practice beads as well. So let's go take a look at these under slightly better lighting. Okay, so I'm outside now. This is the bead. Sorry for traffic noises. This is the bead that we had made during the tutorial. I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. And then this one here is the practice bead. Now these two, there seems to have been maybe not a reaction so much as like I might have scorched a little, or maybe I scorched the clear that was on top. I cannot emphasize enough how much of a like beginner I am. I'm not very experienced at this, I feel. And then these two were some other practice beads, just to give you ideas. Like, I really actually like the one where I had done a purple core with white dots, and then the color that we're using today that I can't pronounce on top of that. So here we can kind of see those colors together. Like, I think this one looks much more purple. So I don't know if maybe I was just scorching my clear or what was going on. And then this one was actually a little side experiment where I was trying to use mica powder, but I kept scorching it off, it seems. Made a nice little gravity bead. I really like it anyhow. And then these are two other beads that I had done using the same color blend. This one's just the white, or white and then just the purple without also the dark purple. And I had some little dots in there on those ones. So let's go ahead and remove these guys from their mandrels. I really love that mandrel bead release because it makes it so easy. If you ever have any that are kind of difficult, I have some pliers that I hold on to, or you can soak them. I soak in just water. But most of the time they just come off nice and easy. And then I have a Dremel bit that I get in there and just clean out gently the bead release that's stuck inside the beads. So those are some examples of how that came out. I'm going to try to have these available for sale on our website, backtooearthcreations.com, in upcoming shop updates. So if you super durable, that's for darn tootin'. So if you're interested in that, please be sure to check out our newsletter, because we send out email notifications every time we have a new tutorial or a shop update or anything like that. And we also send out exclusive coupons in our newsletter as well. If you enjoy our channel and would like to support the creation of more free tutorials, traffic noises, please consider joining our Craft Along Club. For as little as $1 a month or $12 a year, you greatly support the creation of more tutorials and just everything that we're doing here at Back to Earth Creations. So until next time, you guys, happy crafting. Mwah. Bye.